Good afternoon. We begin our afternoon with Billy Napier, the head coach at the University of Florida. Billy's been an assistant in the Southeastern Conference previously, but this is his first appearance as a head coach at SEC Football Media Days. I think you all know prior to moving to Florida, he had been at the University of Louisiana. I have Southland Conference roots and those in-state Louisiana relationships. I kidded Billy, I know it is UL Lafayette, but officially University of Louisiana. Led University of Louisiana to the 2021 Sun Belt Conference Championship. He was a two-time Sun Belt Conference Coach of the Year. His dad was a hero to him and a big part of why he's now in coaching. Initially, his dad, who was a high school coach, was his model. Billy's intent, like his brothers, was to coach at the high school level. And among other stops, he's been at Clemson, Alabama, Arizona State, and the University of Louisiana before the move to Florida. You may recall, in fact, I will note this one caught my attention. I think it was a halftime interview this past season when he said during that interview, "Scared money don't make money." And that's about how you call a game and how you play a game. That wasn't about NIL, folks. That was a good halftime comment. So it's my privilege to introduce to you the head coach of the Florida Gators, Billy Napier.
All right. I grew up about 2 hours north of here. And when I was growing up, my dad, anytime he would drop us off, whether it was at elementary school, middle school, to the church, maybe practice for a baseball, whatever the case may be, he would always ask us what our name was, right? We had to say our last name, and then he would say, "Represent," right? Well, today's a great day. Very humbled and honored to be here to represent the University of Florida. And all the Gators, right, throughout the entire world, all across this great country that we live in. You know, more importantly, our team, right, our players, our staff, our entire organization from top to bottom. You know, one of the great things about the game of football is it requires hundreds of people to have success. Big role, small role, each person has an opportunity to be the difference, right, to make an impact. We're thankful for all the people, each one of those people that contribute to our team. You know, we're 7.5 months into this journey, and I've been very impressed with the leadership at the University of Florida. You know, our president, Dr. Kent Fox, on the university and foundation side, and on the UAA side, Scott Strickland's our athletic director. It's been fun to see their vision. And once on the inside, to see their execution. You know, we have an elite education at the University of Florida. It's a top 5 university. And we also have a championship culture amongst all 21 sports. You know, it's great to be a part of this team and work alongside these people. You know, we're thankful for their belief in our plan. And we're very appreciative of the resources they provided as we begin to take on this great challenge. You know, SEC Media Day is a special day. It means football's right around the corner. You know, when you think of this league, you think about the history, the tradition, the rivalries, the venues, the great players, the great coaches. You know, it's exciting to be a part of this league. I've been fortunate in my career to be in the ACC, the Pac-12, the Mountain West, the Sun Belt Conference, the MEAC Conference, and I played FCS level football in the old Southern Conference. You know, this is the SEC. It is the league. Quality personnel, quality coaching, the footprint, the passion. You know, it is the standard. It sets the bar. There's so much momentum, the credibility, and the stability. One of the greatest slogans of all time is "It just means more," right? And I think that explains it very well. You know, there's a lot of uncertainty about realignment. You know, I think the SEC is in a position of power. You know, I can't compliment Greg Sankey enough for his leadership. It's one thing to be on the outside looking in. It's another thing to be inside and experience. This is a fantastic organization. He's a special person and an unbelievable leader. the foresight, the wisdom, the integrity, the awareness, right? We're talking about high-level decisions here, and I really believe we're going to look back, and some of these decisions will be historic. We're excited about the player representation that we have here today. Veteran offensive lineman Richard Garage is from Tampa, Florida. He graduated this spring. He's played over 2,000 snaps for the Gators. Our quarterback, Anthony Richardson's here. He's from Gainesville, Florida. And veteran linebacker Ventrell Miller, who's from Lakeland, Florida. He graduates this fall. He's played over 1,500 plays in his career. These players represent our values. They have integrity. They're great teammates. They have discipline in their approach. They give great effort. They're tough, and they believe. And I think that's comes from great preparation. They not only contribute on the field, but they've done a great job off the field as well. This 2022 team that we have is a new team. It's a new year. It's a new set of challenges and opportunities. I think each year and each team is its own entity. I think you got to start over every year. This is a first-year staff at a new place with a new roster. We've got a lot of players and a lot of staff that are learning our way, right? A lot of new roles. There's lots of roles to be determined on our team. We've got a core group of veteran players. We have a big portion of our team we think has ability but is inexperienced and needs to develop. And then we've brought in some young talent, high school, JUCO, and transfer players, about 34 new players overall. I like this group. I think they've got a chip on their shoulder. They're excited about the opportunity to earn some respect. Reality is in college football, 25 to 30% every year you're going to have attrition. And you're always a work in progress, whether it's year 1 or it's year 10. I've been very pleased with the offseason. Each phase, it's the first time we've done it at a new place with a new group of people, and we're learning together. We're currently finishing up week 8 of a 9-week program in the summer. It's important that we finish strong, and that's the focus. We want to try to create momentum for training camp. This group has embraced the work. I'm proud of our team. This team's not scared. They're tough. They love to compete. When you put the ball down, they're about it. And I'm excited about training camp. The next 40 days will be critical. We're going to work hard on developing the personality, the identity of this team, the daily approach, right? The self-discipline, the habit, the choices, focus that's required to be an exceptional player and have an exceptional team, and ultimately build habits. We're excited here as we approach training camp. We're going to move into the Hefner football training facility. It's an $85 million complex. It's 140,000 square feet. And I think if not one of the best, it may be the best in the entire country. And it will help us, as we move forward building the program. We've got a very challenging schedule, obviously in the SEC East to go along with LSU and A&M as a crossover West opponents. Top 10 Pac-12 champ Utah comes to town for the home opener. And we're on the road at Florida State on a Friday night. It's a 6-day turnaround. And then we play South Florida and Eastern Washington in non-conference play as well. I want you to know we're very appreciative of the media and all the things that you do to contribute to the game, the great stories that you tell, right, about people, about teams, your pen, your keyboard, your lens, your camera, whatever the case may be. This game will teach you a lot if you'll let it, and we're thankful for the stories that you tell about it. Thank you, guys. Any questions?
All right, thank you, Coach. If you have a question, raise your hand. Allie, Lexi, and Blake have microphones. We will get a microphone to you. Okay, Coach, we're going to start over here on my left-hand side, about midway back in the green.
Good afternoon, Coach. Jacob Goins from ESPN 106.7 in Auburn. What are some of the changes that you are implementing at Florida to make your impact felt as the new head coach?
Well, I think the big thing here is that, the game's about the players, and we want to create an organization that has life-changing impact on the players, right? We've put together a great infrastructure that's all about serving the players. We're trying to improve the player experience. We want We firmly believe that better people make better football players. We're committed to improving their character. We're going to prioritize their education. We're going to teach football at a high level. And I think we inherited the situation that we have, and we're excited about the administration, the resources that they provided. So ultimately, the game's about the players. And everything that we do is to serve the players, position them for success within the game, but also when the game's over one day.
Coach, we'll go back over here to our left, third row.
Hey, Billy, Ben Portnoy from the State newspaper in Columbia. I know Bobby Lamb coached you when you were at Furman and was on your staff at Louisiana. I'm just curious kind of what he's meant to you as a mentor coach and what it's been like having him by your side at least the last few years as well.
Well, Coach Lamb, we go way back, right? Obviously, Coach Lamb's dad was a high school coach, a legend in the state. My dad was a high school coach. Grew up, my dad had players that played at Furman University. I went to that quarterback receiver camp for, I think, 5 times. But Coach Lamb's always been there for me, right? As a position coach, he transitioned to being the head coach, and certainly it was a pleasure to have him on our staff. So he's a great sounding board. He's got a lot of wisdom and a heck of a football coach, but an even better person.
Coach, we're going to go back here to the right side, the section in front of you, all the way in the back.
Hey, Billy, Matt Baker with the Tampa Bay Times. You said when you got hired that this is a talent acquisition business. After 7.5 months, how do you assess where you all are in that?
No, I can't compliment the staff enough. I think we put together a really good group of people. They've worked hard. Reality is you have 4 opportunities to add players to your team. December, the winter portal period, February, and then the spring portal period. And I thought we made the most of our time. I think we were fortunate that we were able to observe bowl practice and address maybe some of the issues that we observed. Did a great job in December, and then I think the momentum carried over to February, and then we added a few more players in the spring. So, I like the group that we added. We've had a chance to work with those guys, observe them throughout the summer. So far, so good.
Okay, we're going to go here in the middle section along the near aisle, right in front. Coach Mike.
Thanks, Coach. Mike Griffith, AJC Dog Nation here in the middle. I noticed in your background you overlapped with Kirby Smart at Alabama. If you could maybe characterize, share an anecdote. And then secondly, Kirby likes to play the no respect card for Stetson Bennett, but this is a guy you recruited at Louisiana and offered a scholarship to. If you could share some insight into that as well.
Yeah, nothing but respect for Kirby. The guy's an unbelievable football coach, leader. He's a fantastic person, unbelievable competitor. And I'll tell you, the first time I saw him was our first SEC meeting. I told him, I said, congratulations, because, I know what goes into that, right? And I'm proud of the guy, just to be quite honest. He's done it, and he's done it the right way. He's going to be great to compete against him. I think Stetson is it's pretty awesome to turn the TV on and see that guy playing quarterback for the Dogs. He's committed to the University of Louisiana. Got an opportunity to go back and play. Had the confidence. You think about his character and his confidence and his abilities. Fantastic player and a great leader. Certainly, I can see why Georgia, took him.
Coach, we'll go back over to my side, the left side, along the wall.
How you doing, Coach? Scotty from Off Script. You've been a part of a lot of great coaching staffs, and you brought up the MEAC. Can you tell about what you learned from Coach Buddy Pough at his time at South Carolina State and that atmosphere down at South Carolina State and what they produced down at South Carolina State as well?
Yeah, no, I always will be indebted to Buddy. Gave me my first full-time job coaching the quarterbacks and calling plays. And to this day, if I get into a tough spot, he's a guy that I can pick up the phone and call. Just tremendous wisdom, right? Not only his experience with Brad Scott and Lou Holtz, but just being a high school coach. He's a great leader. He's got a great pulse for his team. He has the ability to connect. The guy's a legend if you've been around the guy. I can see why he's had the success he's had. And, that experience shaped my career. There's no question. It made me better, and I'm thankful for it.
We'll go back over to our right, Coach, on the aisle.
Raymond Parch, 103.7 The Game, Lafayette. Hey, Coach. 4 years in Lafayette running the Raging Cajuns, first-time head coach. What were the biggest lessons, your biggest takeaways in that 4 years that you're implementing now running the Florida Gators?
Well, I think the first thing is you get put in these leadership opportunities, you quickly realize how important the people that you surround yourself with are. And I think we had success in Louisiana because we had an unbelievable staff and we had a great group of players. And then I think time is of the essence, right? And what you do with your time, how you allocate your time, not only with your staff and team, but also with your family, right? So unbelievable experience. And I thought we got a little bit better each year. I wouldn't be prepared for this job without that experience. And the people in Lafayette shaped me, made me better. I'm thankful for my time there.
Coach, we'll go over here to our right, about 3 rows back on the aisle.
Coach Stephen Hargis from the Times Free Press in Chattanooga. Just wondering what you learned from watching your dad's career, how he interacted with his players, his staff, and specifically how he continued to coach throughout his illness.
You're trying to get me here today. Dad showed, I think sometimes when adversity strikes, you can choose character or you can choose to compromise, right? Dad did an unbelievable job. Every day he chose character. He relied on his foundation, which was his faith. He was a great example to a lot of people. Even to this day, it's impacted me and a lot of other people too. So thanks for the question.
Okay, we'll stay over here on the right side, about halfway back. Allie, if you'll get a microphone, right in front of you. Right there. All right, go ahead.
I don't know how I'm going to follow that one up, but Conor Garris, Saturday Down South. You're a coach who's not losing your hair, but you embrace the buzz cut. What's the thought process behind that?
It's simple. That's what I would tell you. It takes no time to get ready in the morning. I got a lot of other things to worry about besides my hair. I can promise you that.
Coach, we'll go right down here in front of me. Bob?
Hey, Billy. Bob Holt, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Florida obviously is a place, showing you can win national championships, SEC titles. But the last 3 coaches, none of them lasted longer than 4 years, even though they had some success. What makes you feel like you can be like a Steve Spurrier, have a good long run, not end up like these other guys? And then after that, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about Anthony Richardson, just what you're seeing from him, maybe what you expect from him this season.
Yeah, I think timing is important, in every job, right? I mean, these are big decisions, and a lot goes into the research leading up to those decisions. And I think that I've been impressed with the leadership at Florida, right, in terms of their awareness, what's required to be competitive at this level, their investment in the Hebner Center, the resources it took to build this new facility, I think is going to help us in recruiting. It's going to help us acquire players. It's going to help our player experience, right? It's going to help our efficiency as an organization. And they were committed to our vision and our plan, right? I think we're 20% bigger as an organization. We've modernized the approach, but we've got an incredible product. I mean, we have history, we have tradition, we have an elite degree. We have one of the best experiences for scholar athletes in the entire country. And it's been done before, and they're passionate about doing it again, right? And I think they understand maybe why there's been struggle, and I think they're working hard to address those things. But I love a challenge, and this is a challenge. And, I think we can get caught up in all that, or we can see an unbelievable opportunity, and that's exactly what I see. As far as Anthony Richardson's concerned, I've been impressed. I think he's remained humble. He's got a little bit of an edge. I think he wants to prove himself. He's still relatively an inexperienced player. I think he's played 221 plays or something like that. He's completed 33 passes. He has tremendous ability. He's working hard to develop, improve as a person, as a leader. He's working hard to increase his football IQ. His skill is developing, and I think he's primed to have a phenomenal year. But we've got a lot of work to do, right? And I think I told him, I can still remember in the spring game, I could see he had some urgency about him. And I told him, I said, it's important, this energy that you feel right now, you got to bring that and channel that energy each day between now and the next opportunity in the stadium. So we've seen that. You know, our routine for the quarterback is rigorous. He's embraced that, and he's making great strides. So, and I know he's looking forward to the opportunity.
Coach, we'll go right in front of you here on the second row.
Charles Odom with the Associated Press here in Atlanta. I wanted to ask if you could follow up on your comments about Kirby Smart. As you begin to build your program at Florida, do you see a sizable divide right now between the top and the rest in the conference, or do you see the fact that there have been 3 different national championships won by SEC teams the last 3 years? Does that provide you encouragement that this is more than just a one-team dynasty in the league?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all aware that if you can win your division, if you can win the conference championship here, you can be a national championship contender. The playoff is there. The path, it's been proven, you know, I mean. But to go back to what you're talking about, I think, you know, we're consumed with Florida right now. I mean, we've got a lot of grass to mow, right? And it's our grass, not anybody else's. So, you know, we've got a lot of work to do. When you take over an organization, a team, you quickly get to work on, you know, what are the issues, what are the problems, coming up with really good solutions. You know, it's one day at a time. It's one person at a time, right? And I think that's the approach that we're taking. You know, we'll look up at the end and see where we're at, but right now we got a lot of work to do. It's critical that we stay on task and focus on what we can do to help the Gators get better each and every day.
Okay, Coach, we'll go right in front of me, 3 rows back. Drew.
Yes, sir. Coach Napier, Drew DeArmond, WZZN Radio, Huntsville, Alabama. I wanted to ask you about a couple of guys that you inherited on your team. One from my area, Jaden Hill, who's had injuries in high school and at Florida, but looked like he was coming into his own last year as a corner, got hurt early. And Princely Uman Mielen, I hope I got that right. He's somebody that I followed in the recruiting process that I felt like was a great talent, and I wanted to know about his development as a Gator.
Yeah, you know, Jaden, had a chance to get to know Jaden a little bit. I think I admire Jaden, you know, I mean, to go what he's gone through from an injury perspective. I think it's important when you're trying to overcome an injury to keep perspective. I think it can benefit you if you have the right approach. You know, it can create toughness, it can create resiliency. And I think we see that it shaped his character, and he's better for it, right? But anytime you get injured, it's a challenge. So Princely's had a really good offseason. You know, I think I admire the work he's done in changing his body. You know, he was one of the really standouts when we got the DEXA scans back from after the 9-week training block in the spring. Really made a ton of progress. Guy did some great things even today, right, in some of the testing. So Princely's primed to have an exceptional year. He's one of those players that doesn't have tremendous experience, but we think has ability and is going to have an opportunity to impact our team.
Coach, we'll go into the section to our right, about 3/4 of the way back. Robert.
Robert Cessna, the Bryan College Station Eagle. Coach, I wonder what you picked up from Nick Saban, and by the way, an early happy birthday. I think your birthday's tomorrow.
I appreciate that. You know, Coach was great to me. I mean, heck, I think each person that's worked for him would tell you the same thing. You know, he's created opportunities for me because of the things that I learned from him. You know, I admire Coach's consistency. You know, he was unbelievable in his approach. He set the standard. He set the bar relative to the discipline, the work ethic, the focus, the ability to sustain. You know, we could sit in here all day and talk about the things that you learn along the way. But, you know, he was good to me in my career. He hired me twice, gave me an opportunity as an analyst, brought me back as a position coach, and really helped me in a difficult time there when my dad got diagnosed with ALS. Really helped me in a lot of different ways. So Coach has been great, man, and admire him for what he's accomplished, and he's not slowing down anytime soon, I don't think.
We have time for a couple more. If you have a question, raise your hand. We've got one up here. Let's see if we can get up here to the second row. over here to our right.
Hey, Coach, Trey Wallace from Outkick. Talking about the Florida-Georgia game, I know you haven't been around long enough right now in Gainesville to maybe make these decisions. Kirby Smart's talked about how he would like to see the game move to home and home venues. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, I got asked that question earlier. I think the big thing is I want to experience the game first, right? I'd like to see that game in Jacksonville, experience that game before I have an opinion on that. But, you know, there's a lot of credibility to both, right? A home and home obviously would be fantastic, but there's also some tradition there. There's a rivalry there. You know, time will tell, you know, and I agree. That's above my pay grade. But I'm looking forward to the opportunity to participate in the game.
Okay, we've got another one back up here. Blake, second row, Bob.
Hey, Billy, with the players you inherited and the guys you brought in, I mean, where do you feel like your talent level is? Do you feel like it's realistic you could compete for the East title this year? And then when you talk about how close you and Kirby are, now you guys are at obviously two programs that don't like each other very much. Does that change your all's relationship, or how do you handle that?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of the things that you discussed earlier there to be determined. You know, I talked about it earlier. I like our football team. I like how they've embraced the work. I think they love to compete. I think they're tough. I think we do have a little bit of an edge. You know, I think there's, you know, a sense that, you know, there's respect to be earned, if that makes sense. And I just like the look in the eye that I see. You know, we've got some veteran players that I think have done a really good job, and then we've got a lot of work to do as the coaching staff. You know, I do like the group we brought in, but, you know, year one, new staff, new place, new group of players, new roster. I mean, we're a work in progress. And I would tell you this, every team in the country's got its own set of issues and problems, right? We're all working our way through that. And that's exactly where we're at, you know. But as far as, you know, competing with Kirby, heck, man, I've got nothing but respect for Kirby.
Okay, if you have a question, raise your hand. All right, we've got one right up here. Scott.
Hey, Billy. Scott Rapollet from the Baton Rouge Acadiana Advocate. Talk if you would about reuniting with Rob Sale after you went away for a year with the Giants, and also what Jabbar Jalouk and Corey Raymond bring to your staff.
Yeah, no, we were very fortunate to be able to bring Rob back. You know, he was with me for 3 years at Louisiana, did an unbelievable job. You know, we were Joe Moore finalists, I think, 3 years in a row. We had a handful of players drafted at that position. You know, just did a really good job connecting with the players, had great rapport, and then a phenomenal teacher. You know, and he's one of those guys that had a relationship with before, kind of a foxhole guy, really a guy that I can lean on and have a great relationship with. So Jabbar, very much the same. You know, I think with us for 4 years, proved his ability as a recruiter, proved his ability as a teacher on the field. His group was one of the best groups that we had. And I think the thing that's impressed me about Jabbar is his ability to mentor not only his group, but to have an effect on the entire roster. He has, as a former high school coach, he's got a sincere, authentic care, wants to help people, wants to help the players. Phenomenal. Corey, obviously first time working with Corey, but, you know, just a really savvy veteran, you know, never hits the panic button, you know, always focused, always, you know, on the task at hand. Very good developer and teacher. I mean, you think about the track record. I think he's had 16 defensive backs drafted. Still to this day has great relationships with all those players. And, you know, Corey and I go way back. You know, when I was coaching receivers at Alabama, you know, there was a lot of battles and some really big games. So I used to watch his group in pregame, and you could just tell right away the guy's a phenomenal teacher and a great coach, and he's proved to be the same for the Gators.
Hey, Coach, we'll take one final question right in front of me, 3 rows back.
Hey, Coach, I'm Cubby Serene with Bulldog Illustrated. You know, the whole nation's looking at the state of Florida in terms of recruiting. So as the new head coach, I was just wondering what you'd be doing to keep those kids home.
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, I do think, you know, our philosophy is to take an inside-out approach in recruiting. I think it's critical that you start at home base and work your way out. The state of Florida has 275 Division I football players each year on average, right? I think that's a 5-year sample. So it's critical that we have a great evaluation process. I can't compliment our personnel department enough in their approach. And then we do a great job when we do get opportunities on campus to build relationships, to show our product. And I think that's one of the things I'm excited about. We have a phenomenal product. And I think as we grow as a staff, we're going to get better at presenting that product and learning more about the University of Florida. But keeping the best players in the state at home is going to be critical. And the good thing is there's a lot of them to go around, and we're going to stick to our plan, inside out, evaluate, recruit, and once they arrive, we're going to work hard on developing them as people, as students, and as football players.
Coach Napier, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.